Sometime in late June, late May or early June, I visited a place. My wife and I, we were looking to have some coffee. It was a nice springish day, and we decided that we were going to go and have some coffee, and we wanted to find a place outside. And she had suggested a place that she had heard of called Ridgetop Coffee in Sterling. Anyone been there? You've been there? Ridgetop Coffee in Sterling? Yeah. So Ridgetop Coffee is owned by the Riverside Presbyterian Church. And the story that they told us was that they had sold their building and they had purchased half of an office building. And in that office building, on the main floor, they had renters and stuff, but on the main floor, they built a coffee shop. And you walk through the doors of the coffee shop, and to the left are the doors to their sanctuary, and toward in the back, there are the offices for the church. And then, but there's this great place where they have wonderful seating, comfortable seating, and signs that say, "Stay as long as you like." I remember Ed DeBevics in Chicago used to say, "Eat and get out." Well, that's not what they say here. They say, "Stay as long as you like." And then they have a room where they, rent-free, you can come in, and as a community organization or something, if you want to use a room, there's like a board room for you to use. And then there's a great children's play area. And so I experienced all that, and it was really comfortable. And by the way, the coffee is supplied by Cafe Amore in Vienna. Yes, yes. And so here's the point of the story. I walked into this place, and all I could think of is that this is the physical manifestation of their theology. It was a physical manifestation of their theology, or the way that they interpret it. And it was on display for everyone to experience. Now, I'm not going to compare our theologies on paper because they're very different. But what I loved about it, it was immediately I felt a sense of love, of community, of radical welcoming, and of intergenerational church. If I weren't here on Sunday, I'd go there. But I'm not going to stay there because I really don't believe their theology. But I love the way it felt. It felt really nice. And the coffee and the breakfast sandwich were pretty good too. After that experience, I thought, what would it look like if we, UUCF, viewed everything we did through this lens of radical welcoming and broadening our understanding and concept of what community is? So I got revved up on this concept of radical welcoming. I came back to UCF and I scared the staff and the board with my new desire to build a coffee shop right here in the Commons and on the patio. Because I thought, yes, what do you think? It'd be a great place. You come in, you get, well, I won't describe the whole thing, but look at the beautiful setting. Is there a coffee shop that you know of that has a beautiful setting like this? So after I scared the board and the staff, I came away with this lesson from it. I thought to myself, in these incredibly challenging times, our sense of and facilitation of community based on our values and principles has to be more visible, more tangible, and more present in everything that we do. Everything we do. The congregation is not just a set of open doors on a Sunday morning, like our reading said, but the commitment day after day and moment after moment of our hearts creaking open, the doors of welcome to the possibility of new experiences and radical welcome. As we regather for this new congregational year, what we hope will be the first in 3 years where we are fully open for in-person activities. Please give a round of applause for that. May that be so. As we gather in-person activities, there is so much to digest. This congregational year is a year where we are witnessing the struggle for the soul of our republic, This congregational year is a year where we're looking forward as we both grieve the past and need to move on from it. This congregational year, we gather for this new year, and our two in-gathering services will stress, as I said before, the need to broaden the definition of what it means to be community. And more specifically, the time has come for us to break down the uphill, downhill story that gets told in this congregation. The adults don't belong in one place, while the children belong in another. That was the applause line. So you guys, if we're going to model an intergenerational welcoming community of the 21st century, then we are one. And we need to see and experience ourselves as one as much as possible. So today, through the lens of looking at our religious exploration, we are going to change the way we think about it as family ministry. We're moving forward by inviting our children to the first 20 minutes of every service. Every week, a family will be invited to light our chalice. We hope to continue to transform our spaces to be more welcoming and more comfortable for all, and that our welcoming theology that values the inherent worth and dignity of every being is evident the moment somebody walks through that door, whether they are a parent, an elder, or a child. This is a critical time in the history of this world to connect rather than separate. Build the connections necessary to counter the forces of separation at play in the world. The beginning of the year, our in-gathering services are a perfect time to set our individual and collective intentions for the year. This is the same sanctuary that many of us have sat in for years, but maybe it's time to look at it through a new lens. This beautiful resource for the congregation is also and needs to be a beautiful resource for the wider community. This is true of UUCF as a whole. How can we look at what we have been and who we are through a lens of the challenges of the 21st century in which we live, not the 20th century from which we were designed? It's almost as if the time is right to have a blank canvas, using brushstrokes of beloved pieces of our past, beautiful colors of our present, and new techniques for our future. Or in other words, how do we utilize the amazing time, talent, and resources of UUCF and do whatever we can in these challenging days to broaden community, build deeper connections to combat the forces of separation, and impact our world as much as possible through relationships of deep love and in ever-increasing acts of equity and justice. So for In-Gathering Part 1, we bless this space and each other with our intention for becoming an intergenerational community. May this truly be a sanctuary for all ages, where we learn and grow together, young and old alike. May that be so, and amen.